Next day, today we ate our lunch in a different place. It's a lounge, watching the daytime news. Personally playing on the television we ate. These sure are good. Today again, Himiko-san seemed to want the dishes of my lunch. I also knew that hospital food was bad. So on top of the table, my lunch and Himiko-san's hospital meal was spread out. The two of us ate together. Hey, I want the vegetable one next. On the right edge. Okay, thanks, Professor Sumi. I'm not gonna tell you anymore. It's a joke. So we made these little exchanges around when today's lunch came to an end. Hey, I've been wondering from before. Is it that you don't like them? As she spoke, she pointed to the fries in the lunchbox. And didn't I also eat them all myself yesterday? I don't like them. And why are they in here? I should not answer. Debated a bit. Decided to tell the truth. Because I'm thought to like them by Mother. Looks like you got it hard too. Probably. Even with that, my meaning went through. It was like before with the clothes. For some reason, Himiko-san seemed to see through to the heart of things. However, the words that Himiko-san spoke next was clearly in a different tone of voice. But that's not kindness, you know. Huh? Well, it's probably something you can't understand. Trying to be considerate of people, that's a big mistake. Mistake? Not kindness? At very least, those words were directed at Mother, but probably towards me. Right and wrong. That's it, I understand. And I don't think not saying how I really feel is right. Then was it that revealing the truth was kindness? Say that Mother had gone through for my sake was something I actually hated? Would that be kindness? Afterwards, I was going to go shopping at the store for Himiko-san. As I left the elevator on the 7th floor, I was again headed to the lounge. Huh? The hallway just before the lounge. I saw Himiko-san talking to someone. I was sure that person was helper that had spoken to me the other day. I thought about going up and sneaking to them as the two of them spoke, but for some reason, sensing that it wasn't that kind of atmosphere, I couldn't help but watch from afar. Look, today's IV drip, you still haven't had it. I know, Sarah's going back now. Also, about how you'll be bathing this afternoon. Hero, do you think I didn't know? I didn't mean that. So, there's no need for unnecessary consideration. Go back to your own assignment. And the unknown Oni-san left like that. Without doubt, that was the person who spoke to me the other day. Say, that person just now was just a helper. It's as if she were pushing something aside. To me, from the explanation I heard about the helpers on the 7th floor, I thought they were very admirable. Yet, looking at Himiko-san, it didn't seem like she felt that way. Especially with the person just now. I thought she had even been cold. Seeing that I wanted to say something, Himiko-san entered the lounge before us. Seeing the sofa, she offered the chair facing her. See, I was once a helper. Huh? Here? And that was someone I knew. That was unexpected. Me and the bright cheery Himiko-san and the image of a helper just wouldn't connect. At the very least, my image of the helpers on the 7th floor was that they were always calm and collected. But if I thought about it, part of it did fit. Patients on the 7th floor, like the patients of other wards, were in a way given freedom. However, in among them, had thought Himiko-san was special. For some reason, it felt as if she was allowed to get away with even more. Questions I had before about planting in the garden without permission, how she said she didn't need an assigned helper, how she would randomly give friendly nods to doctors and nurses. Surely because she had been a helper before in the hospital, she had probably been allowed more. Say, can I ask you a question? Why were you a helper? This time I tried voicing my next question. Even if it were true that Himiko-san had been previously a helper, why she worked as one, I couldn't imagine. At least, what I knew about Himiko-san, I thought she would be indifferent to something like volunteering or being a helper. Well, my family is Catholic. Catholic? Yeah, my parents also did it too, but they often participate in such public welfare activities. This was an even more unexpected answer. Of course, I myself knew absolutely nothing about Christians or religious matters. Even then, compared to the helper just before, I thought that religion was even farther from my image of Himiko-san. And, well, this place is a Christian hospital, right? That I know. So, even more so, you see. She spoke as if that were the answer to everything. Certainly I hadn't really considered it up until now. But now that she mentioned it, I did occasionally see people who looked like priests and sisters. But still, for us normal sick people, there were a few things that we noticed about the kind of hospital it was. Said those details, whether there was specialization in surgery, whether there was a famous internist present, from those a hospital would be chosen. However, for the people who worked there, it was probably a huge difference. But, well, from the start, I was a fake Catholic. Really? Yeah, by chance my house was next to a church, that's all. Himiko-san answered in her usual cheery way. Whether those words were the truth or a lie, I didn't know. However, just that time, her gaze shifted to the window, and that profile that I couldn't see clearly. Thought there was some denial of those words. But I certainly didn't think I'd come around and be admitted into the 7th floor myself. Maybe I really am being punished. The long summer day slowly ended. Usually father was home early, so today our family of 3 ate dinner together. Since we moved, his commute lengthened, and it had been a while since the 3 of us gathered around the dinner table like this. Oh, made a friend? Yes, that's why she's been going out every day. Not great, Sutsumi. And by making a friend, father also became happy. Pretty sure that because my health had been well lately, father was even more pleased. Before, the 3 of us would eat dinner together, but now, because he comes home late, mother and I together was normal. There were also times when she would come home late from a part-time job, and I would eat alone. That was the norm now. Since that day 3 years ago, years of going in and out of hospitals, Himiko-san said that she herself was being punished. Then did I also do something wrong and was being punished? Just what kind of wrong did I commit? And the one who was being punished, was it myself or my parents? Perhaps both. Is something wrong, Satsumi? Nothing. Window rattled as it slid. Opening the window, even in such stuffy heat, the night breeze felt nice. There were many things I didn't understand, but if we were being punished, then who is doing the punishing? And if I said I'm sorry to that person, would we be forgiven? I, who would silently eat fries, had also been called unkind, and Himiko-san, for some reason, came close to me. Till now, aside a family, others have done the reverse and avoided me. I'm sure that's true for her also. It was because there was no one else, so probably it was because she was bored. Burning sunlight and the pouring of cicada cries. Pitch black shadows were right underfoot. After having overslept, I was now headed to the usual place. Elevator's bell rung. Morning. You're here late today. Morning. Getting off the elevator, exchanged light greetings with the nurse I had become acquainted with. Now, even if I entered the 7th floor, no one challenged me. Maybe, just maybe, that's right, I too might become a person of this place. Yeah, give it maybe a couple more years and then, yeah, you'll become all too familiar with this place and eventually become a resident of it. Thought something came, I was afraid. Continuing down the white hall, headed to the now familiar room of Himiko-san. Knocked lightly on the door. Coming in. When I went to Himiko-san, who had probably been waiting. Books. Perhaps. Perched on the bed, 10 volumes that Himiko-san gazed at. What those were, I didn't know. The face was different from her usual bright expression. Say, what are you looking at? Maps. Maps? With just that answer, her gaze once again returned to the pages. Wonder if this is how it all started, and why Satsumi was so interested in learning about maps and cars and everything, because she wanted to, I guess, do it in the memory of Himiko-san. It was an expression I never saw before, a lonely and yet also somehow calm expression. It's interesting? Not particularly, it's boring. Are you picking up on the whole not particularly thing? Well, it said so, but her face wouldn't turn this way. Even though she said it was boring, she continued staring with a lonely gaze. Then you don't have to look. Even as I thought that, gazed along with her. There's nothing else to do, nothing else I could do. Spread atop the bed, the maps of some place. On them were a number of large highways and roads, places with unfamiliar names. Felt like a slight to Himiko-san. Continued gazing, but for me, I couldn't find enjoyment in doing this. Must be boring. It's fine. Even I think it's boring. Then why look? Indeed, why look? Indeed. And as she answered with that, Himiko-san continued to gaze. If Himiko-san herself didn't know the reason, then there was no way I could understand. Thinking that, and just when I thought she would remain that way for a while, she slowly murmured, "But you know, this isn't something you need yet. That means someday I'll need it? Who knows, that also might depend on you." Occasionally, Himiko-san spoke as if she could see clear to my thoughts, but also times when she would suddenly toss out words like Zen riddles. What those were aiming at, I didn't know. For some reason, although I would wind up nodding. Hey, Satsumi, did you know there were a place that you wanted to go to? How much of a budget do you think it would be enough? I don't know. It's not a question I answered honestly. I had never thought about such a thing. According to my calculations, 50,000 yen. That much? That's where also this came from and why she had that money saved up. No, you shouldn't think that. Saying it the other way, with only that much, you could go anywhere in Japan. Even hearing that sum to me meant nothing, though I couldn't see the intention behind letting me hear it. Perhaps it simply meant that for Himeko-san, she had a place she wanted to go to. Suddenly, someday I too would have such a place born within me, as she also wanted to say that. Well, why don't we go for ice cream again? With that, she folded the maps and stood. Got to have my temperature taken, so go on ahead. Himeko-san and I waited for the elevator. Around, I could see the pajama-wearing people on the 7th floor. People I wonder if they had a place they wanted to go to, just like Himeko-san. Perhaps people of a certain age, or having given up or taken a more philosophical view. Maybe they didn't think about such things. Satsumi-san? May I call you that? You were definitely the helper. Yes, I've been assigned to the 7th floor. It was the helper who had spoken to me before. The other day, Himeko-san had been speaking with her, said she was an acquaintance. And about Himeko-san, about Oni-chan. Oni-chan? That word, I could make a guess on how things stood. Poor Himeko-san said she had once been a helper on the 7th floor, that her family was Catholic. She had also participated in public welfare activities. Then for this younger sister to be a helper here, same way was not surprising. And was there something? Wondering if Satsumi-san was forcing herself to be together with her. Not particularly. Nothing like that. Then that's fine, but... Well, she had been a cheerful, kind Oni-chan, but... Saying that, she sadly lowered her head a bit. Suddenly, I also had a similar impression when we met the other day. At least, her behavior towards this kind-looking younger sister, I thought she seemed very cold. However, towards myself, there had no need of there had been. Even now, I believe she was kind. Hiro, what are you doing? Oni-chan. Told you before, didn't I? If you've got the time to chatter about unnecessary things, you should be paying proper attention to your assigned person. I know that, but if you're also a helper, then take your duties seriously. Let's go, Satsumi. Speaking... whatever that word is, and then leaving her sister there, Himeko-san quickly walked ahead. And as I felt somewhat bad, I followed after. Again today, sitting facing each other, we ate vanilla. Sorry about that, when you see something weird. Wasn't just now, your youngest sister? Yeah, that's right. Speaking, Himeko-san began eating her second ice cream. Beyond that, it didn't look like she was going to say any more, but I wanted to know about her behavior just before. Without doubt, she was worried about Himeko-san. Say, why is so cold? Do you mean about my sister? Gave a small nod. See, it was Himika-san's own sister. As someone who had been the same kind of helper before, thought she would understand her feelings. It might not have been something an outsider would be interfering with, but still, felt the younger sister to be unfortunate and was sorry for her. You know, she's a kind and good person. Indeed, it's because she's a kind and good person. I don't understand. It's okay, because this is also something you don't need yet. I am home. Welcome home. Preparations for dinner just finished. Must be hungry. A nod, I handed over today's empty lunchbox. Here, eat lots, okay? Top of the dinner table were a number of dishes, and as always, the fried things from the part-time job. Yeah. Ah, here, I fried some again. With that, she offered a plate of fries. Slightly fat slicing with a distinctive feature. But today, the hand that held the plate was different from before. Mother, your hand. That's nothing. We were using oil after all. Mother answered cheerfully as always. But those were the mark of a burn. It was slightly red. All while beautifully painted with manicures. Mother would show them to father and me with pride. At that figure, happily excited over such a small thing, father and I would look at each other and give her a worried smile. When she got a strange colour, while saying I was 10 years too young, she had painted my nails too. But now it was different. Pink manicures had faded. In their place was the slightly red skin of roughened hands. Why they become that way, reason was easy enough to imagine. Whose sake they become that way didn't even take imagining. Exactly because of that, it was painful for me. It tortured me. What's wrong? It's just been fried fresh today you know. That isn't kindness. Called Himiko-san's words. Felt that I understood. Betraying good intentions or being silent with lies. Both were wrong. Say, Mother. What's the matter, Sutsumi? They're delicious, you know. Since I've been assigned to the fries, Mother's skill seems to have gone up some too. With hands that were different from those days, but with a smile that was unchanged from those days, Mother happily offered the fries. From such a mother, I could do nothing other than quietly eat the fries. I would say the truth here. I would truly apologize. The person who was punishing us, that person out there somewhere, would they relent? A few days later, the sun shining directly overhead, headed to the usual place. I'd heard that this summer was a cooler summer than average. It seemed like it was going to be a hot day. Good morning. Asumi, I've been waiting. For some reason, Himiko-san was again waiting in front of the hospital. The courtyard again? Nope, that's not it. But anyways, let's go. With just that, she quickly started to walk towards the outside of the hospital. Wait, where do you plan on going? Did I say before? Meaning 3 things. Meaning 3? First, I couldn't remember what she was talking about. You mean those 10 things you wanted to do before dying? Yeah. See, this is one of those remaining 3. It's something that I wanted to go and check out, you see. As she spoke, Himiko-san continued walking. Already she was quite a ways from the hospital. Just how far do you plan on going? Pretty far. even by train, about 2 hours each way. And the doctor's permission? Of course none. Didn't really understand it well, but even if it's Himiko-san, she was arrested on the 7th floor now, and I had the feeling that just up and leaving the hospital and going that far wasn't allowed. It's fine, you don't have to make such a worried face. Well, if I'm caught outside, I'm pretty sure they get angry, but well, they overlook things just a bit. Saying that much, she started walking again. Maybe she was being serious. Certainly, if you keep going this way, you should get to the train station. Then there was one other thing that nagged at me. By the way, you're going in that outfit? Raise a simple question of how Himiko-san was dressed in pajamas. At the least to the ride on a train, thought that was a bad way to go about things. Of course, just like this. Just like this. You're not going to change? It's fine, this is my uniform after all. Sun above the cast short dark shadows. And on the heating of the midsummer morning was a lightly stepping Himiko-san. Well, after, saying that, in 5 minutes of walking, around when the number of people walking the streets slowly increased, I wasn't too familiar with things. But it seemed that she was headed towards Station A. Suddenly she had said it was 2 hours each way, but just how far was she planning on going? And just that amount of time, riding on a train, felt like you could get quite far. Say, from the station, where are you headed? To the ocean, to be exact, to where the pineapple trees are, I guess. Pineapple trees? Was that I wasn't familiar with. Didn't know pineapple trees existed in the first place. They're always in front of large buildings where there are trees called phoenixes, right? I know these. Those don't you think they have to be pineapple trees? Indeed, they look very similar, but... So, don't you want to try cutting one and checking the inside of it? Hey, they really were pineapple trees, it'd be huge. Was she being serious? From a common sense standpoint, it had to be a joke, but with Himiko-san simply being as she always was, it was impossible to tell. What? What's with that face? Are you making fun of me? Not that, but I don't think it's possible. For being the professor of food, you sure are narrow-minded. Everything should be tested empirically, right? The professor has nothing to do with it. And if we're looking for phoenix palms, the hospital has some. They're everywhere. Nope, if you don't test on a much bigger one, it's not fun, right? Didn't really know how serious she was, but together with Himiko-san, head towards the station. Finally, we were just about to reach the station. In mind that it was 10 minutes, walking out to the blazing sky was unexpectedly difficult. As I thought, seeing Himiko-san's pajamas clad figure stood out. People walked by glancing at us. Say, we're really going? Of course. It's for the reason that we come all this. Hide. Suddenly Himiko-san went to hide behind something. Before I knew it, I was holding my breath in the shadow of a building. What's wrong? That is a doctor from the surgical ward. Over there, 4 chief nurses there too. Now that she mentioned it, there were faces that I recognized. I see, people working at the hospital commute from the station. This way they find us and get angry. So that's why you don't go to Station A instead to Station B. Himiko's son laughed in a carefree and sunny way. There was no sense of planning or anything else. In any case, surely she had been a helper before. She didn't know this? Well, my house was in the neighborhood. I've never come by train. Same for me. But yeah, I wouldn't just add in rules for show. Rules? Nothing. It's got nothing to do with you. And what now? Well, obviously we'll try again next time. Quickly the decision came, though she had been so determined up until now. If she really wanted to go, as the morning rush ended, then it would be easier riding the train without being seen. Though she was being serious to begin with. The sun was still high. Around now, the shops in the marketplace were opening up. Well, since we've come all the way to the station, let's make a detour. As she spoke, Himiko's son wandered among the shops while along the street. Looked like, even though she gave up on riding the train, she didn't intend on going straight back to the hospital. Helplessly, I obeyed and followed after. As always, because of her pajamas, people would glance over, but seeing that Himiko's son herself didn't mind one bit. Then, feet stopped in front of one storefront. Ah, these clothes. Nice, aren't they? Touched a number of clothes decorating the front of the shop. But they were all frilly kinds of things. However you looked, they were meant for cute girls. I mean, Himiko's son can still be a cute girl. Let it be a cute girl. Didn't really seem to fit Himiko's son all that much. You like these kinds? As if. Don't have such girly interests. Oh, never mind. So, registered what she said. She had spread the clothes in her hands before me. Yeah, suits you, Setsumi. Me? Well, you always did You're always in sailor uniforms, you see. Thought that maybe this sort of thing would always suit you. Hey, should I buy this for you? This one piece? But you didn't have to be polite. It's a present for a niece, son. I don't want it. Would have been a lie. Someone who had a single sailor uniform was a very tempting proposition. And Himiko-san's clothes? I don't need them. This is my uniform after all. With that, she pointed to her own pajamas. Then I'm fine too. Well, it's not like you had to go along with me. See, you can still choose. Well, I wanted to reply, I swallowed my words. It was said in an unusual bright tone, but the words can still choose. That I realized a very heavy meaning in the words. No, I'm fine. What a pity. I thought it'd definitely suit you. Well, if you change your mind, just say. Buy it for you anytime. With that, we wandered around in front of the station a while, ate ice cream together, and then headed back to the hospital. As we found similar clothes in other shops, she continued to say she'd buy them for me. But in the end, I kept refusing. Daytime had been so hot and hazy. Now, in the huge sky, the face of the moon peeked out. As usual, after eating dinner, I returned to my room and relaxed. By the window, washed and drying on a hanger, was the sailor uniform. Gazing at it, I suddenly thought about the time I had gone to school. Right now, my health was good, so one could forget. But in reality, as someone who was a minute in and out of hospitals. Already over 2 years had passed since I'd been away from the place called school. That time I hadn't once thought about wanting clothes other than pajamas. There hadn't been any pressure from such a need either. But today, just a bit, my heart swayed. Perhaps it would have been better had I admitted I wanted the clues, but Himiko-san herself was stubbornly in her pajamas. Being the only one to get new clues made me feel bad. Besides that, no matter where Himiko-san was in her pajamas, she was dignified. Compared to that, I always felt somehow sorry. Like I'm somehow doing something embarrassing. I can't help it. Maybe mother, who had stopped getting manicures and rent her hands. Father, who continued the long commutes in the same suit. They saw me happily wearing cute clothes. Perhaps to the both of them it would be a happy thing. Then that, for me, I think would be difficult. More than saying I hate fries, it felt that difficult. Cicadas continued their crying. Then a few days after, before I noticed it, it had already entered mid-August. Nothing had particularly changed, and, as always, I was headed to Himiko-san's place. Ah, Satsumi. Hearing a voice I recognized, turned around and the girl I had met before was there. You were Himiko-san's... Yeah, I'm her younger sister, Chihiro. As always, she spoke in a calm, well-mannered, gentle way. Unlike Himiko-san, Chihiro-san were said to be a helper or a Catholic, one wouldn't be surprised. Today, unlike the usual apron form seen at the hospital, she was in a white, cute one-piece dress that I thought was somehow her. Are you perhaps going there from here? Is Chihiro-san also... No, I have a place to go to first, so... Ah, that's right. If it's alright, Satsumi-san, would you come along with me? Didn't know what was going on, but I continued walking behind Chihiro-san. Under the blazing sky, the two of us walked side by side along the street. Unlike Himiko-san, Chihiro-san spoke rarely. But somehow, she was a person with an air about her, where just from being with her, one could feel at ease. And then, a little before the hospital, she turned left at an intersection where I normally didn't go. At some point, as this area turned into a quiet residential neighborhood. Look, it's there, on the bend. Ah, the church. Rolling sounds of bells. Appeared before me was a large church. From long ago, I knew there had been a church nearby, but this was the first time I'd ever come to it. And by the way, right building next to it is my house. Saying that, what she pointed out was a pretty house that gave off a serene feeling. The tall ivy-covered fence gave off a western atmosphere. Probably obvious, but this being Chihiro's home meant it was also Himiko-san's home. And then, following her urges, I stepped into the church. First church I'd entered. Streaming from windows, dazzling bright light and vividly coloured stained glass. First time I visited here, I felt it was very beautiful. Peaceful. Was that the word? Polar opposite of glaring gorgeousness might have felt like this. But there's no one around, is there? Yes, because no one comes at this time. With just that, Chihiro-san approached what looked like the altar. Then, from her pocket, she took out what resembled Buddhist prayer beads. Quietly brought her hands together. This was that thing called prayer. TV, I'd seen the fingers were holding together, but this was like praying at a temple on New Year's, with just the hands brought together. The thing she brought out of her pocket. First I thought they were Buddhist beads, but looking carefully, it was a rosary. To me, everything was so fresh and new. So of course the first time I'd seen any of this. So, would you pray with me too? Me? It's alright. Yes, it's not like offering a prayer requires some special rite. But what should I pray for? That's for each person, their freedom. Once again, bringing her hands together, Chihiro-san quietly closed her eyes. Imitating her, I put her hands together in the same way. Soundless place, closing my eyes, I felt everything dissolved into nothingness. However, I felt it wasn't a fear instilling dark and emptiness, but a clear white that spread everywhere. But what in the world should I pray for, I wonder? Chihiro-san said that I was free to choose, but for me, what I should be praying for was a difficult thing. Next to me, I could hear the small whispers of Chihiro-san's voice, so small I couldn't make out the words. I felt sure she was praying for Himiko-san. By that so seriously praying figure, I felt my reasoning wasn't that far off. Once again, my eyes opened after some time. Oh, just 30 seconds worth. Look next to me, Chihiro-san also seemed to be finishing up her prayer. Say, Chihiro-san is a Catholic person, right? Yes, that's right. Oh, Catholic person is a bit of a strange way of saying it. And your Onisan, Himiko-san, is different? Nisan says she is a fake Catholic and denies it, but as far as I know, she is a very devoted Christian. The usual kind way of speaking, she answered. From the Himiko-san that I knew, I couldn't imagine it, but none other than the younger sister, Chihiro-san, said so. So it must be as he said. Well, shall we leave? Chihiro-san walked towards the entrance that we had come from. When I walked after in the same way, suddenly her feet stopped and she turned around. Ah, that's right. Sumi-san, face this way. When I wondered what she was going to do, she once again placed her hands together. May the bountiful blessings and grace of the Lord be upon you. For my sake? Of course, I'm not a priest, so it's just a sentiment. After that, we left the church, and from the hospital we parted. Me, it had been all new experiences. Churches and Catholics, I don't really know much about them. All I knew was that I had reconfirmed that Chihiro-san was a very kind and good person. Also, the Himiko-san that acted so coldly to her was apparently a devoted Catholic like her. Built the elevator wrong. Slightly later, I came to the usual place. But for some reason, I couldn't find Himiko-san in the hospital room or even the lounge. Wonder where she went. If you're looking for Himiko-san, she's in the courtyard. Peered around, a nurse passing by spoke to me. It's hot, so tell her not to overdo things. Okay. I looked, Himiko-san was in the middle of watering the flowers. Morning, Sensumi. It's hot today too, isn't it? She spoke, she held her hose single-handedly and was spraying the flower. I sprayed the flowers with vigor. If her outfit was the usual pajamas and slippers, then maybe to defend against sunstroke, she wore a straw hat. The image was oddly comical, and yet mysteriously seemed just like Himiko-san. To that Himiko-san, I pointed to the place we planted bulbs the other day. Have shoots come out already? It's impossible for it to happen that soon. Then she showed me a carefree smile. She had been called a devout Catholic, but her to have an air like Chihira's son, praying into the church, at least to me, was unimaginable. Wilderness and the dry land shall be glad. Desert shall rejoice and blossom. Under Caucasus it shall bloom abundantly and rejoice with joy and singing. Note, it's the words from the book of Isaiah. Shook my head. Didn't really know. It was probably from some kind of scripture. Just now, as I was having the thought, Himeka's on the sun words surprised me. And then, while I was thinking about that, it's hot today, isn't it? Well, somewhere came a nurse, someone I hadn't seen before. Seemed like someone from a floor I didn't know. Thank you very much, Himeka-san. While I was at it, I watered the other flowers too. So, which is better? Thinking of taking some. For which floor? Third floor decorated waiting room. And a potted plant would be fine, right? She spoke, she scooped out a number of yellow and white pansies and moved them into a plastic bag. Thank you very much. Are we going then? Taking the plastic bag in her hands, the nurse disappeared into the building once more. Leaving, her hands made a cross. The nurse was also a Catholic. And I didn't really understand it, but seeing that this flower bed, Himeka-san could plant and pick as she pleased. I believed it not because she was a resident of the 7th floor, but because in the hospital she seemed to be officially recognized. Nurse just now was another acquaintance. Yes, there's a lot of other acquaintances too. Being a former helper I had heard about, but did this come about just from that alone? Thinking about how this was a Christian hospital, and then how she had been called a devoted Catholic earlier, I had a feeling there was a link. What? What's with that mystified face? Not like I've been given any sort of power. A former helper, now a resident on the 7th floor. Just my career had been a bit long, so my face is known, that's all. She added that while she was my age, she had come in and out of here often. Those words, having a long career, didn't simply mean being a helper. Now that she mentioned it, she had once said that Catholics were involved in various public welfare activities. Looking at it like that, probably it was just as Chihira said. Himeka's son might have been a devout Christian. What's wrong? Is there still something you wanted to ask? Why doesn't Himeka-san pray or anything? Pray? Me? Well, you're a devoted Christian, right? Let's see, if you don't like fake Catholic, former Catholic would work too. I'd mean that in the past it was true, but now it wasn't. Then you don't pray anymore? Nope. Family denied. And while I'm at it, let me say, there is a prayer, and there is also a curse, don't you think? I didn't really get it, but suddenly asked such a question, I couldn't gather my thoughts. There was a problem that I didn't know the difference between the prayers and curses. Besides that, I've been thinking about going tomorrow. Remember we couldn't that one time before? Did she mean the thing with the pineapple trees? In the end, we went to just before the station that day, but gave up and came back. She had said we would go again on a later date, but how are we going? It's fine, leave it to a Nissan. Anyways, since we're going out, don't forget to pack your lunch. The sun was slowly setting. Once again, today the two of us sat around the dinner table. Tomorrow, lunch for two? Is it okay? Because tomorrow I was going to go out with Himika-san. Tried asking for a lunch for two. However, even though my health had been good lately, while I said no, I was planning on giving up on the idea. I guess not. Of course I can. I'll put extra effort into them for you. Instead of worrying about me, I simply gave her okay. Actually seemed happier than usual. So your friend Himika-san, are there things she doesn't like? Broccoli. As most people do. God, then I'll make sure not to put any in. Yes, next time, if it's fine with her, get her to come home to play. Went back onto the bed, I let out a big sigh. Sure that mother thinks that Himika-san was a normal hospital patient, or a nurse. At the very least, she wasn't thinking it was someone from the 7th floor. Well, as we're like this, Himika-san was also like this. The happier mother got, my heart hurts. This way what they call the sense of guilt. At a slightly earlier time than usual, I headed to the hospital. Lunches in a tote bag in my hand and number 2. Since it was hot, Mother also prepared a frozen water bottle for me. Not sure how far we were going, but I was pretty sure she spoke about going all the way to the ocean before. Setsumi. Or Setsumi-san. Chihiro-san? To be honest, I was looking for you. From her pocket, she took something out and offered it to me. This, could you give it to Ani-chan for me? A key? I accepted it was a shining silver key. Is this for a car? Yes. If you tell her it's parked in a rare parking lot, I think she'd understand. So could you do that for me, please? Those final words, once again, Chihiro-san rushed off somewhere else. Couldn't be. Didn't think she was planning on going by car, but maybe there was someone else to drive. I wondered about it. I went to Himika-san as I was told. Elevator bell chimed. Peeking into the lounge and seeing that she wasn't there, I headed to the hospital room. After knocking, I opened the door. Good morning. You're early today. That's what I was told to do. Yes, I was told to hand this over. As I answered, I showed her the key I was given earlier. Thanks. So, shall we go? As if it were perfectly natural, Himika-san took the key. He was really planning on going by car? Key to the parking lot. Since it was just the time in the morning when our patients came in, the area near the entrance was packed with cars. Then, walking a while in the parking lot, as we came to the furthest point, or part. There it is. It's been a while. Stopped in front of one car, red-coloured open top. Over that car, as far as I could see, was made for two. At that point, the theory that there was some other driver vanished. So, it's a good car, isn't it? Never mind that. Is it okay to drive? Legally, sure. That wasn't what I meant. It's dangerous. We crash, yeah. Oh, he'll be fine. I know already, okay? Thing like this, I'm telling you I know about my own body more than anyone else. Even if you say that, don't know how much trust I can put in it. Look, even I wouldn't drive if I thought it'd be really dangerous. Really? Yes, the road's not just me driving by myself after all. Car door slammed shut. After saying that, Himika-san quickly got into the car. So, Where are you going? What are you going to do? There's an empty seat on one side here. Alright, already. Raising a light engine noise, red open top started running. Moving from the usual familiar streets, past the neighborhood supermarket I occasionally went to. Passing 3 intersections in moments, we suddenly went onto a large road. But I wonder just where in the world she was planning on going. Before, she said it was about 2 hours by train, so I think it'd be quite a distance, but as I thought that, I sat next to her and stared at the view. Sorry, did I jolt you? A bit. Bear with me a bit, okay? Been a long time since I've driven, so just until I get my senses back. When I came to that, I thought her driving felt rough. Reality, she probably wasn't going that fast, but maybe because there was no roof. Even the slightest square was extremely scary. See, a bit slower. Tire squealed. Huh? Did you say... Did you say something? Nothing. I tried to quietly grip the seatbelt tightly. It was going to be a disaster from the wind, but I'll live with that. Already, the sight of me desperately gripping the seatbelt with both hands might have been a bit ridiculous looking. Satsumi, what are you doing? Don't worry about me. And if you looked around, the scenery was changing from being in the sea to a beautiful green. Himiko-san had finally regained her driving sense. Or maybe I was the one who got used to the driving. In either case, I got to the point where we could calmly talk. So, open tops aren't bad, are they? The wind feels good. Yeah. This feeling of being one with nature is great, right? Certainly, I didn't think so in the city, but here in the middle of this natural place, it felt very liberating and nice. Even as we speak about this, cars driving in the next lane were constantly passing us. First, I thought Himiko-san's driving was scary, but it seemed that she really was driving safely. This is what sort of car? Oh, you're interested in cars? Not particularly, it's not that, but wasn't any deep meaning behind the question, just no real reason I wanted to know. Eunice, a roadster. Is it an amazing car? Nothing to be surprised about. Just that I like it. It doesn't have air conditioning or navigation system. It's an old car. And Himiko-san taught me many things about the car. That was the first generation NA model. What the power-weight ratio was. She continued talking as best she could about technical things. Hey, an A86 just passed us. Often known as a Toyota Corolla, for those who haven't been exposed to the initial tease days. Yeah, that is an anime that I still have yet to watch, but I definitely know it from all the memes that have used songs from the anime. As she spoke, she pointed at one car passing in the next lane. Getting passed by that somehow makes you angry, doesn't it? Then Himiko-san continued on about midship layouts and rotary engines, always passionately talking about these mysterious things. Demands. That was some kind of dessert, I think. Of course, for me, I had no clue what they were. Himiko-san really loved cars. That made it so clear even to me. But It's strange. What is? It's running better than I thought it would, considering that for a long time it has been untouched, you see. Rosa continued on. Her redwood reflected the summer sky as it ran. And when Effie looked up, the sun that had been behind us was coming right overhead. Passed through the long mountain road. Then before our eyes spread the sea. Oh, isn't it a great view? Shoreline that continued endlessly, summer sunlight that sparkled and reflected off the emerald waves. Far away, swaying pine groves, distant voices of seagulls. Then, when what could be seen along the sides of the road were many phoenix palms. Mika's son said they were something like pineapple trees, and, as she mentioned before, each and every one of them was big. This is our destination? Yeah, in a few moments there's a spot I've been to a few times before where there's a place we can stop. Okay, we're here. On the road running parallel to the sea, shoulder that seemed for emergency stopping. There was space for 2 or 3 cars to stop, but since there was no traffic, likely that another car would come. Stopping the car in that area, we got out of the car. Hey, what kind of juice do you want? Lemon tea. Roger, just wait a bit. Here you go. Mixed with the crashing of waves, the quick sound of pool taps rang out. Then, Himika's son facing the sea with a hand on her hip and swallowing loudly. Delicious. So coming out of the bath and drinking milk, she gulped down the orange juice in one go. And for no real reason, I also put my hand on my hip and tried gulping down lemon tea in one go. Then we walked towards the sea spread out before our eyes. It's kinda cute that Sesame wants to copy her. It's a beautiful place, isn't it? Yes, it's a spot I kinda like, I suppose. I came here often before. Not really, but once in a while. Well, originally I came across it by chance anyway. By chance? Well, you see, the car's got no navigation system, right? So the first time I just drove around and got here. Chance that Himiko's son's face was just a little bit different from usual. It was somehow lonely, somehow nostalgic, a complicated kind of face. Alright, so that's we had a goal, right? Just as what she had registered, she began rummaging through the trunk of the car. Then, taking out a small saw-like object, she started walking towards a large phoenix palm by the roadside. Did she really mean to cut one? Say, what's that? Oh, you don't know about hacksaws? They're really made for cutting metal, but they can cut well. Didn't mean that. What do you plan on doing? Obviously cutting. Just a little 5 centimeter worth. She placed the hacksaw against the phoenix palm. Feeling it was better to stop, but just how serious Himika's son himself was, I didn't know. Maybe if it's just 5 centimeters, it didn't matter so much. I write about these things alone. Yeah, I think I'll stop. And that she once again returned the hacksaw to the trunk of the car. Phew, she decided to give up. Or had she not been serious from the start? Still eyes around. When it's a bit darker, I'll do it. Damn it. Not like she gave up after all. Getting sunlight, moist sea breeze, and the scent of the ocean. Once in a while, a number of seagulls came close. On that kind of beach, 2 of us started at a late lunch. Mother's good at cooking, isn't she? Guess what, today she tried extra hard. I see. What a good mother. Speaking about these things, we had our lunch. Sitting up on the sheet Himiko-san prepared, it was a late lunch party, where the two of us put on straw hats to keep off the sun. Almost like pigeons in a park. We gave the seagulls crumbled food. They fiercely snapped them up. Looking at those silly figures, the two of us laughed. This feeling, how long has it been, I wonder? I couldn't help but think about that. Looks like she still thinks you like them. Words came as she looked at the fryers that were always there. Those words I couldn't help but fall silent. She had said it was kindness. In other words, it probably meant that I don't like them. Then there was kindness in saying so. Even I understood that. Understood, but readying her hands, doing it for me. I was such a happy mother to say that sort of thing, knowing just how sad it would make her. How much even I knew. Felt something behind me. I looked, Himiko-san was gently patting me on the back. Like coming and crying child, she continued to pat my back. Oh, there's no helping it. Not as easy as just saying it after all. Himiko-san. Yeah, it'd be nice if someday you can come out and say it, right? You know, it's a really hard thing, but really, saying a bunch of selfish things might be just right, you know. Saying that, she gave me a smile. With the usual cheery face, she gently encouraged me. Sea breeze stopped, and the long summer day began drawing to a close. Around when the waves, the sky, and everything that could be seen was stained orange. Well, getting to a good enough time, I guess. She spoke because son once again went to get the hacksaw. For an already sparsely traveled place, she probably had been waiting for this even more opportune time. In the middle of that, a single car came down the road in front of us. For some reason, it was headed straight for where we were. Looked like cars come. That's odd. Someone stopping in a place like this. Stopped before our eyes was an unknown subcompact car. Beyond the lace curtains, what could be seen in the car was lots of stuffed toys and numerous accessories. That was without doubt a car someone with girlish interests. Strange car. Indeed, in this day and age, gay cars with frilly interiors just don't exist anymore. From the car that stopped before us, we both gave our impressions. Then, the strange car slowly opened the door. Hey, you're looking well. You're Yuka. What coincidence being in such a place. Yes, an unbelievable coincidence. Seemed to be someone Himiko-san knew. Yes, been quite a long time. Who was this? A short, cute-looking person who looked good in the frilly clothes she wore. Himiko-san herself said that she knew many people at the hospital, but the person before my eyes didn't seem like that sort of person. By the way, what's with the tacky car? Quite you. It's better than your junker. And hey, even though it looks like this, it's a new car. Jeez, don't make a paper driver drive long distances. And you should think about your age, okay? Your age. What was this feeling? Seemed like an argument, but also didn't seem to amount to a conversation, and yet somehow it didn't feel like that at all. But, well, how should I say? Yuka, thanks. What are you saying all of a sudden? This and that, this and that. Must have been you who maintained the unit for me, right? I know nothing about that. Probably just a coincidence. Well then, I'll leave it at that for you. Very happily conversing Himiko-san. Of all the times that I've seen Himiko-san up until now, the impression was a first. The person she spoke to, what I heard was she was always angry, but it didn't feel like that at all. Well, I'll be going. Door open and slammed shut again. Just that little conversation, Himiko quickly got back into her own car. As she might not have known just what she had even come. But, truth, did she want to talk more? Probably wanted to spend much more time together. For some reason, I felt that way. Couldn't help but turn to Himiko-san and open my mouth. Say, is it okay to part like this? Wasn't any particular reply. She just continued to gaze at the person. Truth, she didn't want to talk more. Hesitated in even uttering those words. Somehow I sensed that I shouldn't intrude. Then, the car that I thought was just going to leave. Briefly closed driver's side window, opened one more time. Hey, Himiko. Yes, I know. Exchanging these words, both of them fell silent. But Himiko-san and the unknown woman who made her face near tears. A world where everything that could be seen was stained orange. Only the crashing of waves and the cries of seagulls sounded. Then, driver's side window closed. See you then. Those last words, she once again returned to the road. Silly, as always. It's because I said not to come to the 7th floor, to come all the way to such a place. The person just now was, indeed, a bit not true to herself, but really very kind. Person who let perfect attendance slip by. Perfect attendance? Yes, and my number one best friend. Himiko-san slowly murmured. Eyes were gentle, but somewhat lonely. Thanks to that, the remaining 3 has become true. It wasn't the pineapple tree. Oh, that's one too, but it's different from that. Just one more time, I want to meet again. With my best friend, you see. Then the orange-coloured scenery slowly changed to blue. Already the seabird and cicada cries have disappeared. Only the sound of the waves hung over the beach. Then that, 2 of us were still at that place. Rough sounds of soaring filled the air. Guess it really wasn't a pineapple tree. Pity. What a pity. We had said that, but it certainly didn't sound like it. Instead, Himiko-san sounded as if she was having fun. That's that. It's not even 1 centimeter cut. It's fine. Anymore, you'd feel sorry for the tree, right? Then from the start, you didn't have to cut it. No way. They should be judged without trying. Then, with lightly skipping steps, she began walking towards the water's edge. Look, since we come all the way to the sea, let's play before we go back. She splashed into the water. It's cold. Hey, Simi, you come too. It's cold, and feels good. At the water's edge, barefoot, raising the hem of her pajamas. Himiko-san seemed to be having fun. Could it be that in reality, testing the pineapple tree didn't matter at all? Me, I couldn't imagine the reason, but it might have been that she wanted an excuse, whatever it was, to go outside. And separate from my inner thoughts, Himiko-san was enjoying herself at the water's edge. But just, even though I didn't understand plenty, there was one thing that I understood. I figure of Himiko-san right now, before my very eyes. I doubt a few months later this person will disappear. A sunny smile, gentle patting on my back, warmth in that hand will disappear. Only that was unmistakable. Hey, what are you doing depressing the mood over there? Your son started splashing water. Ah, don't come, I'm really gonna splash you. Alright already. And being prodded, I also took off my shoes and headed to the water's edge barefoot. Well, it feels good, doesn't it? And it's cold, and it feels good. Wash my feet in the waves. The feeling of the sand, the cool evening water, both felt good. Many years was it since I'd been in the sea like this, I wonder. When will it be the next time I come to a sea like this, I wonder? Yeah, about that. It's sad to think that the next time she comes to a sea like this will very much be her last time. Now, we finally got revved up. Then, from the convenience store bag in her hand, Himiko-san took something out. And just when I wondered what it was, ta-da! And here, alcohol is made a present. Come, you hold a glass too. But me and alcohol... Don't worry, we just discovered the truth behind pineapples after all. Besides, this is an 8-year-old wine. With overflowing gusto, she half-forcibly poured me a glass. Clear red wine seemed overlaid with the beautiful colour of the moonlight blue. Two of us waddled into the sea to our ankles and took up our glasses. By the way, Satsumi, you're how old now? Uh, 15. Well then, to an 8-year-old wine and 15-year-old. Glasses clink together. And to my life too. Moon floating in the cloudy summer sky illuminated the dark beach. 10 things to do before dying. 3 weeks ago, I was told to go along with the remaining 3. Now the pineapple tree and her best friend were cleared, leaving what appeared to be 1 more. Me, I didn't know what that was, but they for doing that last one might not be that far off. After some time passed, Himiko-san was still happily walking along the water's edge. Suddenly her feet stopped and turned away. Satsumi, if I go into the sea like this, do you think I can die comfortably? Over there, the expression that had been on her face just before it disappeared. Hey, at that time, would you stop me? Really wanted to die, you would have dove into the sea long ago. Always a cool one, aren't you? She spoke, she splashed her way back. And okay, yeah, whatever that word is. No, there isn't any particular meaning in this. And then, while drying her wet feet with a towel, she sat down next to me. Now we're revving up again, right? Contrast her words, she spoke calmly, and turned to face the one who'd fallen silent, me. Okay, you got them right. Plenty of things you want to ask. Give a small nod, I slowly opened my mouth. Long before, there had been many things I wanted to ask Himiko-san. When you heard you were going to die, did you cry? Well, a bit. Then were you bitter? Asking why only me? That's a hard question. Well, let me ask you. When you say bitter, bitter at whom? I didn't know. That was my reaction to the unexpected question. Indeed, God exists, then I might be bitter. And though you're a former Catholic, you don't believe in the existence of God. I believe, even as a former Catholic, probably God exists. But you see, looks like he's very busy, that God. Maybe he just doesn't care, perhaps. Continued to speak softly, as if talking to herself. Face illuminated by the moonlight, felt somehow lonely and Okay, why do I struggle with this word? Philosophical. There we go, finally. Hey, hey, Satsumi. Do you know a dog of Flanders? A dog of Flanders? Yes, it's a pretty famous story. So you probably know it. Well, more or less. Some words I answered with the slightest nods. When I was young, I think I watched an anime broadcast of it. I believe it was a story about a child who lost his family, Yellow, and his dog, whatever that name is. Yellow, the dog, and Alois. Who would you want to be? Or who don't you want to be? One who ultimately died, Nello and the dog. Then the two best friends, Alois. I didn't want to die. Even saying that, I didn't want to be the one left behind, Alois. I didn't want to be any of them. Oh, that's an impossible arrangement. Why? People have only these three choices. Smoker's-san answered, face was different from usual. Expression that she occasionally showed, that very strict expression was there. June, a white overcast sky spread out today. This time, assignment is different from usual. From the hospital, my head was full of anticipation about a person I haven't seen yet. Out the long hallway, I saw the doctor and spoke to him. So, are you really fine with it? Yes, please allow me to. Even if you say that. My wishes, the doctor showed reluctance. Me still being a university student, isn't the burden too heavy? It will probably be the unspoken meaning behind it. Patient is, well, you know, right? Of course, that was exactly why I asked for the assignment. Doctor still continued looking doubtful. I pressed harder. Source of this was my volunteering to be the help of a new patient in the hospice. I made sure to bring a letter of recommendation from the church. The spoker handed a single sealed envelope over. Here, the domain of extraordinary acts was not decided by only the hospital itself. Wishes of the church had often had influence. Right, I'll inform the director. Thank you very much. Giving a deep bow, I left the place. Helper application for a 7th floor assignment. That in itself wasn't a particularly strange occurrence. However, up until now, I'd served 3 hospice patients already. Considering my age, that was a rare amount of helper experience. It could be said that I was a veteran. As to why it was rare, in normal hospitals, no matter how much a person volunteered, it would have been difficult for a university volunteer to be stationed at a hospice. And how short-handed the place called the hospice was afforded that consideration. But this is a Christian hospital. However, even compared to other places, it was more strongly a religiously oriented place than medical service orientated. And I am a Catholic. Someone who, before our earliest memories, received the waters of baptism, who actively engaged in public welfare activities. These were probably all of the reasons. But this time's assignment is different than usual. The patient was a child. Also, not just a child, one without guardians and bedridden. Essentially a child with no relatives or parents. Of course, that didn't mean the child had no parents at birth. While cruel, leaving a bedridden child, vanishing just like that. There were many of those kinds of parents. Didn't want to accept it, but that was also reality. Such a child with no place to go, no relatives. First to take the child in would be a Catholic hospital like ours. Perhaps it could be said that it was the last resort. But the merciful stance was the aspect of Catholicism itself. That was my reason for being faithful. That's why I was not a devout follower. It didn't matter if the Baptist or Protestant, I probably wouldn't have cared. Thought I had been baptized before I had memories. Just a coincidence that I was born and raised in the house next to a church. But even if it was a coincidence, didn't have the resolve to want to swear lifelong servants. I was simply a follower, just of that merciful spirit. Elevator bell chimed. Different from the usual 7th floor, say it was to the 5th floor. Had to greet the Nello I still hadn't seen. Word Nello was a term between us helpers and nurses. Residents of the 7th floor, child without relatives. Bringing those together most likely. It had probably been a name taken from a dog of Flanders. Pretty disrespectful name, but even now, didn't know the truth behind it. When I came, I felt already long established. It's just that there was probably no malice behind that name. The reason was whenever it was known that Nella was coming, number of doctors, nurses, and helpers who saw the assignment were great. That sort of situation was probably because this was our hospital following Christ's teaching, saying a self-sacrificing attitude. Then, among those, the helpers assigned to Nelly were called, with both respect and jest, allies. In reality, the dog would have been closer. However, we are unable to die with them. That's why they were called the closest best friend, Alois. I was one of those who decided the role of Alois. Knocking, I opened the door. Morning. Good morning. Raising her body up in bed, the girl looked this way. Her knees, perhaps because it was past noon, was an already half-eaten lunch tray. Voluptuous hair left an impression. Oh, what a good girl, you finished it all. Well, really, I don't like broccoli. And Isan is... I didn't introduce myself yet, did I? I'm the helper that just got assigned to you. As I answered, I opened up the certificate and showed her. A child of this age might have been pointless, but showing the person now was a set thing there. So treat me well from now on. And me too. She responded with those words, but she looked this way with a puzzled expression. But what's a helper? Huh? That was unexpected. I mean, likely that there were also things she didn't understand, and I hadn't thought it was to this extent. Is it different from doctors and nurses? I wonder how I should answer this question. Someone who took care of them. Normally that probably would have been fine, but from here on out, what faced this girl was the 7th floor. And I was her helper, the Lois Vanello. Normally, unless one were notified, one couldn't be admitted into the 7th floor, meaning they'd been informed that they had already run out of treatments. To be direct about it, pronouncement that they would die. After they received the explanation and the hospital receives their agreement, they are finally allowed in. And that was exactly why in many general hospitals were not offered to children. However, Nello's were different. The place was different. Moreover, if both parents had been Catholics, then even more so. What's wrong with Isan? Sorry. While thinking over the question, was a helper, I'd fallen silent. Yeah, well, it's something like a friend. Isan is mine? Yep, so say whatever you want without holding back, okay? Quickly I began cleaning up the tray that the girl had already finished eating. Sorry. It's fine. We're friends, so don't be reserved. Continue speaking to the girl who was still acting reserved. Besides that, I'm happy. Why? You see, from long ago, I wanted a friend from another age group. Also wanted a big sister. Oh, then it's decided. I spoke, I held out my hand. Treat me well here on out, okay? Me too. Burning sunlight and the sound of cicadas. The hand I touched for the first time was warm. A summer day which would also transfer to the 7th floor. And so we became friends. Nello and Eloise became friends. A few days after, as usual, I headed to the girl. Hot. As the early cicadas began to call in earnest, today again looked like it would be a hot day again. Knocking, I opened the door. Good morning. Good morning. Same as yesterday, she lightly raised her body on the bed and exchanged greetings. Just a little bit, she seemed to be lowering her guard, but still somewhere the girl was reserved. The morning temperature check finished yet already? Yes, it was 36.5 Celsius. Or, as they kindly put in Fahrenheit, 97.7% for those of you who use Fahrenheit. I see, then there's nothing to worry about, right? I answered, I cleaned up the breakfast tray. That, until the afternoon, ran out of things that I had to do. From the start, there wasn't much for helpers to do. The local matters were the work of the doctors and nurses. Most it was on the level of taking temperatures and giving support in their daily lives. However, another way to say it was that there was no upper limit to supporting their daily lives. It was certainly, or was exactly for that reason, that it wasn't the doctors or nurses, but the assigned helpers who gave the name Alloy. Well then, shall we go to the cafeteria? But I just finished eating. Ice cream. They're salt after all. But, a complicated face looked down. Must be thinking of something besides politeness. Don't worry, your son is buying. So, as if I were giving her back a push, we headed to the cafeteria. And since it was still morning, it was a scattering of people, and that we sat next to each other at the table. So, tell me whatever you like. Okay, but like I said, don't be reserved. I turned to the cafeteria menu. Then vanilla? Okay, vanilla, got it. What should I have? Wait, there's only one type of ice cream, isn't there? Looks like it. There's no room for choice, is there? Well, I'll go buy them quick. When the girl seated, I headed to the counter. Looking around, children of a similar age as this girl were eating together with their mother or father. Of course, a child of that age eating alone in a hospital cafeteria would be more strange, but the girl's parents were already gone. Of course, the girl didn't know, wasn't allowed to know. Hey, sorry for the wait. Lots of ice cream. Yeah, the size was smaller than I expected, so I thought just one would be rather lonely. So the rule is one person gets two, okay? Oh, is it that you don't like ice cream? It's not like that. Mom sees me, she might be angry. Because she always said I couldn't have ice cream. And that she looked down sadly. It's alright, because Anita's son is with you. Really? Yes, doctors and nurses won't get mad either. Okay. This time she happily extended her hand towards a spoon. It was probably a given, but since coming here she likely hadn't eaten any. However, someone of this child's age, there's no way they could hate ice cream or chocolate. Pondering that, I watched the girl eating, and just after a few spoonfuls, once again her hand stopped. What's wrong? Yeah, Mum. Lately she hasn't been coming to visit. Well, she came to visit me every day. I see. From there I couldn't say more. No need for the child to know. At least, in my case, it didn't seem like I would be able to tell her. Parents are long gone. You, alone, here on will go to the 7th floor. There was just no way I could say that. I mean, how could you? It's just a very depressing thing. It's already bad enough that the parents have to go through potentially losing a child at such a young age, but to leave them alone like that, kind of fucked up. Sadly, I learned that it was a very common thing. Which it shouldn't be. Leaving behind only the patient, the family disappearing. There were probably various reasons. Financially, psychologically. It was a very heartless and cruel act, but couldn't rise to unilaterally blame the parents. Behind a child on a sick bed and disappearing, no parent would do so willingly. I mean, there unfortunately would be some parents that would do it willingly, do it in much worse circumstances. Beyond the cliched words of being worn out from giving care, their agonies and burdens must have been great. I just felt this world was sad. Once again, learned that it was another part of reality. What's wrong, honey-son? Nothing. Instead of that, here, if you like, I can give you my share. But it's fine, don't hold back. When the girls already finished dishes aside, I replaced them with my own dishes of ice cream. Is it good? This ice cream is good, isn't it? Saying that, she showed me a smile. The usual reserved girl smile for the first time for me. A hospital cafeteria's cheap vanilla. First time she looked at me with a happy face. A few days after, burning sunlight and the sound of cicadas, today I also headed to the girl's place. The other day she had been transferred to the 7th floor, but nothing in particular seemed to have changed. So the greatest worry now was the question about her parents. I had no confidence in how I would answer that. The elevator bell rang. Good morning. It's hot today too, isn't it? Exchanged greetings with a nurse friend. How is it? Are you used to here yet? Yeah, originally on the 5th floor. Single room too, after all. Here that she's spoken of about was the 7th floor, and used to was of course not speaking about me. Could it be that you were together all night? Well, I'm used to sleeping on the spare beds. Really? There's no guardians around? Difficult in many ways, isn't it? The words I gave a vague nod. By the way, she was hinting at with how there was no guardians around. What she hinted at wasn't that they had vanished without trace, but they knew they were no longer in this world. Causative was something the head nurse didn't tell me. I was only told that it was an accident or sickness. Oh, I guess that explains why the parents weren't here. Okay, never mind, I think I retract what I said about the parents earlier. Yeah, it's kinda hard to visit the kid if you're, dead yourself. Many possible causes of death were but one. That was why no more was asked by either of us. Yet in this modern age, for us Catholics, it was a great sin and a forbidden act. I really hope it's not implying what I think it's implying, that they, took their own lives because they couldn't handle the kid dying. It's a very depressing thought to be having, but it's an unfortunate reality for some. Well, if there's anything, just say, okay? Yeah, thanks. I opened the door after knocking. Good morning, how are you feeling? Today seems good. As always, the girl raised her upper body in bed and looked over. And I sat down in the folding chair next to the bed. Then, just like that, we spent most of the whole day together. From the window, the bright sunlight shone on her profile. Didn't mean to skip past that. Once in a while, we would talk about little things. That was our usual appearance. Today, the flowers are pretty too, aren't they? Decorating the windowsill were a number of small flower vases. And them shone bright whites and yellows. A nurse decorated for me. I see. Isn't it wonderful? As I answered, I added water to the vase of yellow Gerberus, while the girl happily watched my actions. When I glanced, it was the scene of a common, everyday hospital room. However, the truth was difficult. Rarely visitors' flowers for a girl didn't exist. Since there was no relatives, there's no one to bring them. But at this hospital, especially for the 7th floor, someone always sent flowers. That was the nurses and us helpers. Everyone on the floor shared in it. And when even that wasn't enough, They were selected from the flower beds. That was also another part of the job. Even for the people who had absolutely no visitors, the situation where we made it so that there were always flowers. Do you like gibbous? Yes, but I like the white ones more. She spoke, she pointed to the yellow vase, the white lilies. Generally, as visiting flowers, the scent was too strong. This vase wasn't one that we prepared. But I could imagine who the sender was. The person who would send such a gift. There weren't that many. A church person brought these. Indeed, it looks like they've decided to come. They said they'd come again. Girl happily answered that she liked lilies. It's likely it was a priest or a sister who'd come to visit. Considering the girl's circumstances, it wasn't surprising that the church would do something like that. Even for people who were not of the faithful, they were included without distinction, with a merciful spirit. In a way, it was exactly like this place. But for this girl, she probably didn't understand it much. Both parents were Christians. Girl herself had not been baptized, was young and innocent. Yes. About Mum and Dad. Some question about the parents I jumped. This was the thing I was worried about the most. I was told they went on a long trip. Huh? So for a while they won't be able to come visit. Who said such a thing? Followed down the words of immediate question. As a doctor or a nurse, there's also a chance there had been a priest or a sister. But no matter who it was, it didn't seem I would be able to contradict it. Speak of this lie, say that we simply shouldn't lie, that it isn't evil. I wasn't childish enough to believe that would be the end of this matter. Don't know who had said it, but the feelings were probably the same as mine. Someone from a long distance would find an excuse to condemn this act. I want them to teach us, who are directly in contact with things, some other way. If this act were to be called evil, then all of us, I suppose, would be evil people. Going along with the lie would probably mean I was an accomplice. Wonder if Mum will come back soon. She'd make pudding for me. So, Nissan, we'll eat it together, right? Yeah, I'll look forward to it. Beyond that, I couldn't find any words to reply with. It was just against that intense pressure of being able to say nothing. Couldn't help but string together whatever words I could. Oh, yeah. Say, let's go to the cafeteria. But just before I ate breakfast. It's fine. I'll buy you ice cream again. Once again, as if pushing her from behind, we headed to the usual hospital cafeteria. Nella and Alice, who became friends. Really, it was closer to being the dog, but we are unable to die with them. That's why I was Nella's #1 best friend, Alice. But continuing to hold secrets, could I truly be called a friend? Also, the fact that the girl herself would soon be dying. Just how long must that be concealed? Cicadas continued with their insistent crying. A few days after, today, a clear summer sky also spread wide. Under the sky, today the two of us went out into the courtyard. Today's a bit hot, isn't it? So how about we go back? I want to stay out a bit more. She spoke, she turned a happy face towards me. She had really become attached to me. Probably didn't need saying, but there were no people around of similar age. Majority on this 7th floor were elderly. That was why, even more so, I made to also be near her. Why does this place not have flowers? Her eyes spread a flower bed. On the colourful flowers and the green grass that would be seen, in the corner was in a barren state. Did they wither? Well, I can't say that they didn't. Oh, it's a little sad. As she spoke, she seemed a bit desolate. But that area was for flowers that bloomed in the spring. And already finished blooming, they were simply gone now as they should be. You know, next month they'll plant seeds again. I'm sure soon it'll be lively again. Okay. At those words, she once again answered with a happy face. To that girl, continued with words that I suddenly recalled. Wilderness and the dry land shall be glad, desert shall rejoice and blossom. These are words from the book of Isaiah. So I began to explain to the girl. On the 35th chapter, it was the passage, wilderness and the dry land shall be glad, desert shall rejoice and blossom, and crocus it shall blossom. Shall blossom abundantly and rejoice with joy and singing. I don't think I understand very well. Oh, don't be sad because there's nothing. It's because there is nothing that joy can be born. Might be what it means. Wow, this sounds amazing. Not really anything like that. For some reason the girl was impressed, but I denied it. Just know the words of scripture and states, that's all. Not as though they're my own words, you see. Then Anissa knows a lot, doesn't she? Well, I might know a lot about that sort of thing. A professor? A professor, eh? Won't go that far, but it sounds kinda nice, doesn't it? Then do you know about that? She spoke. What she pointed to was the phoenix palm growing at the hospital's entrance. I've been thinking that it's a pineapple tree, but... Pineapple? It's really big, right? Everything comes back full circle again. So yeah, she was talking about the pineapple tree because of the kid. And also why she was interested in planting the white lilies and... yeah. Guess everyone has their reasons for doing stuff. No matter how silly it may look to outsiders. Well, it's true that they look similar. So why do you think no one's eating it? She wasn't joking. Pretty sure this child was saying it seriously. Should I correct her? Should I agree with her? Just a moment I debated. Yes, she knows the important part, didn't she? Truth is, that's a pineapple tree. Just as I thought. But you know, this absolutely must be kept secret. Why? Because if everyone found out, it'd be eaten right up. So until it grows much bigger, we're keeping it a secret. Let's see, just like a professor. Phil answered it as if greatly impressed. And you know, I also know some other things. What? Expectant eyes, the girl looked at me. And facing the girl, I took from my pocket my rosary and the bountiful blessings and grace of the Lord be upon you. Joining my hands and closing my eyes, I offered a prayer for the girl. Okay, all done. What was that just now? Was it like a magic spell? A magic spell? Well, it's a bit different from that. Certainly if it were a saint or an archbishop, maybe it could have been called a spell or magic. But I was neither a pastor nor the clergy, just one of the faithful. So it wasn't anything extravagant like a sacrament. It was nothing more than a simple prayer. Then a charm? Something like that. That or just a way to ease the mind. At the start I wasn't expecting it to be effective. Really, that reason wasn't why prayer existed to begin with. But, well, since we're at it, calling it magic is fine. I got it. And she showed me her usual bright smile. We who had become friends, Nello and Eloise. Up until now, even though we were supposed to be close friends, I who could do nothing other than buy her ice cream. Touching Eloise found more than one more thing that she could do for the girl.